Welcome to Diversity Matters. This program is designed to highlight the diversity-related activities throughout New Hanover County schools and the greater Wilmington community. I'm Valita Quattlebaum, Chief Communications Officer for New Hanover County Schools. This month on our program, I'm joined in the studio by Wendy Kraft, the supervisor of the school system's online learning programs. She, an Laney High School student, will talk about the growing options in the online learning program and how a student can benefit from taking an online course. Then in the second half of the show, my co-host, Maria Black, will travel to Hoggart High School to speak with representatives of UNCW's Centro Hispano. Members of the organization were invited to the school to share with students from a variety of backgrounds on the importance of finishing high school and pursuing higher education. So don't go away. This edition of Diversity Matters will get started right after this short break.
I wasn't going to school because I was making money stealing cars. Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, nobody cared.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out.
Well, if I don't finish school, then I can't go to college. That's the whole point of what I want to do with my life.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
Welcome to Diversity Matters. I'm Valita Quattlebaum, and today I'm very excited to have as my special guest Ms. Wendy Kraft, our supervisor of online learning programs, and a Laney High School senior, Ms. Lee Williams. Wendy will discuss the online opportunities the district offers students, and Lee will share her personal experiences as a virtual learner. Wendy and Lee, welcome to Diversity Matters.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Wendy, please tell us about the online learning opportunities in New Hanover County schools.
Sure. Students at the middle and high school have access to online courses through NCVPS, which is North Carolina Virtual Public School. In addition to that, our high school students have an opportunity to participate in blended learning classrooms, and we are beginning to offer some interactive video conferencing courses through the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics.
Wow.
So a variety of opportunities.
Okay, and Lee, tell us about your experience with online learning. How did you learn about it and how is it for you?
Well, the first time I heard of it was in my AVID course. We took a skills class and then a leadership class. And that was the first time I heard of it. I was a little scared of it, but I was perfectly fine throughout. I forgot the other half of the question.
Okay. That's okay. So, Wendy, tell us about the pros and cons of this type of education. Is it for all students?
Sure. Specifically talking about the online courses through NCVPS, there are a variety of courses available. There's over 150 courses to choose from, ranging from AP to honors, on-level, credit recovery courses, and even blended courses, like what Ms. Williams is taking now, a blended STEM course. But are they for every student? I'd like to say that there's probably a good match for each student within the online learning world, but not to say that every student should take this course or that course. It really goes back to advising, working with your counselor, being open and honest about what you're looking for in a course, and helping to find the right match for that student's needs.
So if I'm a parent and I'm curious about this, how do I go about finding out if my child is ready for this?
I would certainly talk to the counselor. On the NCVPS website, ncvps.org, there are actually some student surveys that a student can take ahead of time to determine, do I have the characteristics and the attributes to be successful at this point in my life in an online course? Many of the things we hear from our students are time management. Because these courses are taught in an asynchronous format, typically assignments are given on a Monday and they're not due until Friday. And so that can be a blessing and a curse for our students. If they're good at time management, they can pace it and work it around their busy schedules. But if they're not so strong with time management, Thursday night sneaks up on them and they have a ton of work to do. And so through those surveys, through talking with their counselors, talking with their teachers, they can get a feel for, is this a good match for me, and is this content course a good match for me.
Okay. Now, Lee, as a student, how did you manage all those things that Wendy just talked about? Did you do you have the kind of teacher support that you feel you needed for online classes?
Yes, ma'am. I have just as much teacher support as we need. Like
Okay.
Mr. Perry's always there for any problems we have online. If there's something online that we don't understand, he's right there to explain it for us, and we get the extra help that's needed. Time management, I also struggled with for a little bit at first.
Many students struggle with that
Oh
issue.
yeah, because it was like I played volleyball and I also work, so I'm like a busy schedule. But they gave us iPads to use, and they started letting us take those home. And as long as we have them charged every morning, then we're good to go. So that also helped me out a lot. Because
Having that iPad.
when I first started the course, I had no internet access until I got to school with the iPad, and then I got to take that home. So now all my work's in on time.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
Now, Wendy, how many students can we accommodate in the online learning community?
In online courses in general, we have no cap within our district. We have a dedication to meeting our students' needs, whether that be in our traditional face-to-face classrooms, in blended classrooms, or in virtual classrooms. And so it's really not about the maximum number of students, but finding the right match for our students.
Okay.
All of these opportunities are available at no cost to families or students. And I'd like to piggyback and just share a little bit about this unique program that you're a part of. It's a blended STEM pilot, and New Hanover County was selected as one of 3 districts in the state to participate.
What does that mean? Tell us what blended STEM means.
Sure. So in her blended STEM classroom, you actually have 2 teachers. You have a virtual teacher and a face-to-face teacher that work with their class each day in the forensics course.
Right.
Lainey has 1 course and Ashley has 2 courses in this blended STEM pilot. And the STEM is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right.
And so it is a unique opportunity for our students, for our teachers to grow. A lot of professional development is provided through this pilot. Big use of iPads is provided in this pilot, which is fantastic. But we're being able to have a voice in the creation of these courses and the movement of the state of North Carolina in this blended learning environment that will be available to all of our students in the coming years.
And where are we going with it as a district? Can you give us any hints about what we can look forward to?
Absolutely. So we talked about some of the challenges of online learning, the time management piece. Communication is sometimes tough because you can't raise your hand. In an online course, you have different ways of advocating and communicating with your classmates if they're virtual and with your instructor. And we've seen these as challenges for our students. And so as a district, in response to that, we've created a virtual academy model that will begin this fall in each of our 4 traditional high schools and at Mosley to provide support structures for our students. There will be a point person on each campus, and they're going to be the virtual academy coordinator. And they will be responsible for supporting those students with just those things we talked about: time management, knowing what's due and when it's due, communicating with their teachers, and so forth. And so through this additional support structure, I do believe additional opportunities will be available to our students and families, and increased support and success levels for our students.
Would it be possible for a student eventually to not have to come into our buildings to take their courses? Would they be able to stay at home and take all of their courses?
I do believe that is on the very near horizon.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yes, ma'am.
So Lee, let me ask you that. I know you're a senior, about to graduate. That's great. Congratulations. But do you think students will be able to stay socially connected with their classmates if they become virtual learners?
That's a great question.
Online the whole time, like without the teachers in the classroom?
I know you're starting with sort of a pilot class, but imagine, say, 4 years from now when we have a student like you and all of her classes are virtual. She doesn't come into the building.
Now, I'm sure she'd probably still be able to stay social with everyone, but it won't be as if they were in the classroom for the whole hour and 30 minutes, you know? Like, because the online course, all you have to do is get online, do your work real quick, and you're good to go. You're all done. But in class, you have to sit there and interact with everyone, and the lab work that we do in forensics gets us into our social, our social life. Because when we're sitting there online, we're completely quiet, we're all doing our work, we don't speak, we just sit there and do our online done. But the lab work and everything is what keeps us socializing with everyone. But I think they'd probably still stay social with their friends.
I think other opportunities for socialization will come about as we develop it.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, they probably do study hall together and,
Right.
you know, things like that. They know if someone who's taken the same course, they could still socialize like that. But it'll definitely cut down a little bit out of it.
Okay. And Wendy, is there a cost for these programs?
No cost at all to our students or our families.
And why is that?
That's part of the county's dedication to meeting students' needs, to providing these online learning opportunities. So whether you're taking the NCVPS course or the distance learning courses through the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics, or participating in a blended learning classroom outside of NCVPS, where we have students receiving some of their content digitally, some of their content from a face-to-face instructor, none of those are at any cost to our families.
Okay, great.
As a
So
district,
it's
we absorb that.
part of our tax base.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And suppose my student signs up for it, but they decide, oh, Mom, I don't like this.
Right.
This isn't for me. I need to
Right.
go back. Can they?
And that happens. That does happen. You get into a course and you realize, ooh, this isn't a good match for my learning style. Absolutely. They would need to talk with their counselor again, and talk with it's an e-learning advisor. It's assistant principal on campus that is their point person for NCVPS, and they can help a student to withdraw from that course and be absorbed back into a traditional face-to-face course. So for example, if they were in Earth Environmental Science through NCVPS, it wasn't a good match, they can withdraw from that course, come back into the Earth Environmental class within their building. Now, it gets a little bit cumbersome if they were taking a course that's unique, such as
That we don't
Mandarin
have.
Chinese.
Right, I
Yes.
know. I wanted to mention that it gives us a chance to offer things like Mandarin Chinese and
Absolutely.
Japanese, things we don't have a teacher dedicated for.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like I said, there's over 150 courses ranging from the world languages, Japanese, Mandarin Chinese, German, Russian, Arabic, you name it, to African American studies, medieval studies, SAT prep. So a wide variety of courses. But what do we do with that child if they withdraw, if it's not a good match, and we can't put them into a Mandarin Chinese class face-to-face because we don't offer
don't have
that.
that, right.
So that becomes a discussion piece at the school level, how to best meet that student's needs for the remainder of that semester.
Okay. And Lee, would you recommend online learning to your friends?
I would. I think it's a great experience, and it also gives you a little bit more time to work on your work. You know, like you always have a chance. You could submit, like we do journals and mind maps. You could submit your journal and mind map, and if you are not completely finished with it, you don't have to automatically submit it right there. You can go back and refill or do whatever you need to do with it, and it just gives you an extra chance to use your time wisely. You know, like you get assigned an assignment at school, and it's given to you at the beginning of class, and they say this needs to be turned in by the end of class. Well, some people need a little bit more time to get that done. And online will give you that opportunity with anything. Like as long as you turn it in, it's normally within like a week, you'll get the full credit that you need. So they give you up to about a week to get things done. So I think it's really nice, and it's a nice, easy course. Well, at least forensics is. I'm not sure about the rest of them, but I believe it definitely is a nice thing to experience.
Spanish 3 honors, and it wasn't too
goodness.
easy.
Yeah.
But, she enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So Wendy, what has been the feedback from parents overall?
You know, we get a little bit of
I know
all
we get
kinds
mixed,
of feedback.
right.
Yeah,
I've heard some
absolutely.
mixed.
We hear some from the students and parents that this has been a great opportunity for their child, especially to access those courses that otherwise they wouldn't have had access to.
Right.
So some students, because of their learning needs, being in a large classroom is not conducive for their learning styles. And so it's meeting their needs in unique ways, allowing them to have a more focused, individualized experience. Some families and some students have shared that this is not a good match for them because of the technology issues, because of a lack of interactivity, or that the social piece, the coming together, and that relationship piece isn't as strong as they would have liked. And so again, mixed reviews.
Right. You have to know your student.
Absolutely. And I think it comes back to meeting the students' needs, knowing who they are, advising them well, and then supporting them once they're in the course.
Right. Great conversation, ladies. But we have to wrap it up, so don't go away. We'll be right back, and then we'll take a trip to Harvard High School.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Welcome back to Diversity Matters. I am Maria Black, and today we are at Hogarth High School, where a student ambassador from UNCW will be sharing with our Latino students about the importance of pursuing a higher education. They will also take the opportunity to encourage them to be a part of campus life and join organizations within campus that will further enhance their educational experience. Now, they are here not only to encourage them to pursue a higher education at UNCW, but at actually any school of their choice.
Centro Hispano started about 5 years ago. Started at a small office with a faculty member that saw the need to increase diversity in Hispanics in UNCW. So nowadays it's not just an office, it's also a social place for students to kind of mingle and socialize, as well as an office that provides a lot of resources. So 5 years ago is when it started.
Okay, great. And what is the goal of Centro Hispano?
The purpose and the goal for Centro Hispano is to help the UNCW Hispanic students that attend our university. We could support them in many ways, whether it's through academic resources or through cultural experiences that we also kind of program at UNCW. And we also have an outreach component, which is very important to us. We try to dig deep and go into our actual communities or neighborhood counties to try to recruit new Hispanics to UNCW, and obviously the ones that are already in there, the retention piece is extremely important because we obviously try to retain the Latino student that is attending UNCW.
When I first got here as a freshman, I applied to Centro Hispano as a work study student, and I got the job and I started working with them almost immediately, and I was there every day and I made friends in the office. And it just became an everyday fixture of life, and getting involved was beneficial, and they had a lot of programs that I was able to get involved with on campus.
Okay, great. I guess coming from New York, would you say then as an out-of-town student, was that a good move then to increase your opportunity of meeting other freshman students and perhaps other people that share your culture? Would you say that was a great advantage of that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was a big difference coming to the South from New York. But I definitely met a lot of different people that I wasn't used to associating with back home. But it definitely allowed me to meet a lot of new people and broaden my horizons with who I associated with and who I became friends with. And definitely meeting a lot of the Hispanics from all over the country that I had never really associated with in the past.
The reach out piece that you were just sharing about, it's really important, and as a matter of fact, it's my understanding that today your group will be presenting to the students at Hogarth High School. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Is that what you're sharing? You go through the local high schools and you gather the Hispanic students, and is there any particular criteria to attend your presentation, or are you embracing everyone as long as they're Latino?
Yeah, we embrace everyone as long as they're Latino and much more. We're very diverse, so you'll see in our group today that we have the whole rainbow. So really minority students is our focus group. Obviously, we are Centro Hispano Embajadores, so our focus group will be the Hispanics, but we don't exclude any other race from our presentations. Our criteria is pretty much open to all students who would like to find out more about the steps that we take and the struggles that we've been through, and try to share it to them or relate it to them so that they could either learn from our mistakes or just kind of seek a little more advice or have a little more guidance as far as how they could get to college. So that's our main purpose, and we do this pretty often, I would say on a weekly basis, and we will continue to do so as long as CHE remains a student org at UNCW.
What will you say to those students and perhaps those that are listening as an audience that are not sure as to whether they will be approaching the avenue of being a part of Centro Hispano once they get to UNCW, what would you tell them? How would you encourage them to take that step?
Well, I would definitely encourage them all to get involved as much as possible, whether it's with Centro Hispano or not, but definitely Centro Hispano is a great place to meet new people and to get involved and to give back to the community, and it can only help in the future, and it will only make things that much easier for you at UNCW.
That's great. That's great. And can you talk a little bit more about the initiatives that come out of Centro Hispano? I believe there is a Mi Casa project. Can you briefly mention about that, please?
There's a few initiatives that come out or derive from Centro Hispano. We have Puro Teatro, we have Ritmo Latino, we have Mi Gente, and we also have Mi Casa. Mi Casa is a special group because, well, what we do is that we find local high school students who are rising juniors. It's a 2-year program, and what we do is that we match a UNCW student with a high school student, and the main purpose would be to get them ready to go to college. So a lot of college prep, a lot of SAT writing, a lot of scholarships writing. We do develop some leadership skills, team building activities. We have our social days and our community service, which is important. But yeah, this program just is really more like a one-on-one mentor-mentee. Lots of training both ways. So it's not just a mentee that's receiving, but also the mentor is gaining new skills as the 2-year process go along. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I wish there was something like that back in my days when I attended college. That's pretty awesome. What about family? Is there any kind of family component to any of your programs? As in, you know, are the parents also invited to be a part of it at any level, or? Well,
when we do most of our, we really focus on the student. I mean, that's our main objective. But there's Dia de Bienvenida, for example, where we host bilingual workshops to try to inform the parents who are bilingual, you know, try to inform them about the resources that we have available on campus, any questions that come up at that time. Most of our events, like, we'll bring big names from California, like we just brought Contratiempo. So we invite the parents as well. We feel like, you know, it's a community event, and we encourage the parents to go to those types and those kinds of events as well. So I think that the family piece, because we are Latino, right? And I think we were talking before, we don't just ship out our kid out when they're 18 and like, bye, see you later. We want to keep track of them, and we understand how important that is to the family. So we try to serve as a middleman sometimes. So tenemos que jalarle las orejas, or we have to, you know, just kind of reach out to the kid upon a parent request. We try to serve, wear many hats, if you may.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I'm really glad to hear that. And what do you feel motivates these UNCW students that are ambassadors to fulfill this mission, to help the university carry out that mission? What motivates them?
That's a great question. So where do we get the motivation? We get the motivation through what we lived in the past. We get the motivation through all the hardships, all the struggles that we had, so many obstacles that we faced, and so many walls that we have to barriers that we had to knock down. So we feel like if we share those insights, those experiences with other students that are going through the same thing, you know, it really, that's what drives us, is what fuels us, is to make sure that they learn from what we've been through, they learn from our mistakes, so that they could overall just have a better result and go to college and follow our footsteps. So it's really a monkey see, monkey do type of thing for us.
That's awesome. Yeah. And about how many Latino students are at UNCW currently?
We actually have over 800 Latino students, and it's a huge number. It's a great accomplishment, and we're crossing our fingers. So maybe this semester we could break the 1,000. But there's a whole lot of Latinos at UNCW.
What will you share with the audience? What would be that last thing that you say before we close, in order to encourage people to come and talk to you guys and be a part of your group once they come to UNCW?
Definitely. You know, the one piece that I think is important is sometimes we deal with the undocumented issue, and I feel like there are ways for everyone to go to college. And just because you're undocumented, it doesn't mean that you can't go to college. And I think that's the most important part. For the ones who have everything, who have financial aid and who were born here, have some type of residency or live here, there's really no excuse. A high school diploma is no longer enough. I have a bachelor's, and that's, for me, I feel like I have to go out and get a master's. The times are changing. Money isn't all, but money does solve a lot of problems. So, you know, we feel like we have a great team, and if there's any questions, you could easily Google Centro Hispano at UNCW, and we're always there to answer any questions. I personally don't care if you attend UNCW or you attend a community college. Our purpose is just to guide students to go to college. That's the main piece.
Wonderful. I trust that you found this segment of the show informative, encouraging, and interesting. And perhaps now you would like to access more information and learn how to get involved with Centro Hispano. And you can do that by accessing their website at www.uncw.edu/Centro Hispano. Now don't go away, because we will be right back.
I've always said that you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So let's acknowledge this. 1 in 6 Americans now struggle with hunger. These are our co-workers, our neighbors, our friends. The problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution. This is a changing day, not just in your life, but in the lives of many, many others. Join me by visiting feedingamerica.org and find your local food bank to help. I'm Dr. Phil, and together we're Feeding America.
Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Diversity Matters. If you'd like more information about our school district's ESL program, call Maria Black at 254-4202. And also, feel free to call the New Hanover County Schools Public Relations Department at 254-4317 if you have a story idea for a future edition of Diversity Matters. Until next time, I'm Valita Quattlebaum, and on behalf of my co-host Maria Black, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next month, right here on Diversity Matters.